If your gut is damaged, it doesn't matter how healthy your diet is, how many supplements you take, or how hard you train, your body will never fully heal. Brain fog, bloating, fatigue, skin issues, inflammation, anxiety. Most people are trying to fix these symptoms without ever fixing the actual root problem. In this video, I'll show you the exact gut repair protocol I would use if I had to rebuild my gut from the ground up, step by step. And just a disclaimer, this is not medical advice. So, in terms of roles of the gut, I mean, we certainly could be making a 5-hour YouTube video on this, but I'll keep it short and sweet with some of the main heavy hitters. Number one being the majority of the immune system living in the gut. Now, the gut is the body's biggest point of contact with the outside world. So food, water, bacteria, viruses, toxins, etc. The immune system is also a key for microbiome regulation, maintaining the gut barrier, antibody production. So around 70 to 80% of the body's IgA is manufactured in the gut, and it also does control inflammation. We've also got serotonin. Now 90 to 95% is produced in the gut, pretty much all of it. Serotonin is the feel-good chemical which does regulate mood and emotion, so it is so important for overall mental health and well-being. And serotonin, lastly, does improve sleep, regulates appetite, and also increase memory as well. So some big heavy hitters there. And we've also got the gut producing your brain's entire neurotransmitter supply. So we have stuff like GABA, dopamine, acetylcholine, just to name a few. So yeah, it's so important we get our gut health fully optimised. Now, some of the common gut issues, I'm sure you've heard of some of these. You have intestinal hyperpermeability, which is just the fancy word for leaky gut. You've got hypochlorhydria, which is low stomach acid. We look for stomach acid around kind of 2. 2 is the sweet spot, I'd say. You've got H. pylori, which is just bacteria that penetrates into the stomach lining, and it can form ulcers long term, so it can be quite a severe issue if not dealt with. And we have dysbiosis, which again is a microbial imbalance, so there's more pathogenic than beneficial bacteria. You have SIBO, which is just bacteria moving up to the small intestine from the large intestine. And Candida is yeast in the gut that grows out of control. Now, some of the main issues with a destroyed gut, some pretty significant ones here. For example, you've got the progression of autoimmune diseases, cardiovascular disease, neurological dysfunction. So this is something we do need to address and get on top of. And unfortunately, with the modern world, most people are walking around with compromised guts, so it does need addressing ASAP. So the gut barrier is a highly selective barrier, and it keeps all the crap out basically. So leaky gut is tight junctions breaking down, loosening, which means toxins and undigested food particles can enter the bloodstream. As you can see here on the left, nice and tight junctions, not allowing the pathogens to enter the bloodstream, and the kind of bit on the right here showing the gaps in the tight protein junctions. Now we're going to roll through 6 of the most powerful tools to optimize our gut health. Number 1 being zinc, a trace mineral that is involved with over 300 enzymatic processes. So it is super important that we get this optimized. In terms of the mechanism with zinc and gut health, arguably the main one is that it upregulates the expression of the tight junction proteins. As I said, so these are the molecular locks between the gut epithelial cells. I always like to see it as like the castle walls, and when you have leaky gut, you get holes in the walls, and then you start to get foreign invaders come through. So it's an easy way to remember it. Also with zinc, it is essential for the development and activation of T lymphocytes, natural killer cells, and also neutrophils. So extremely important. In terms of sources of zinc, I'd say oysters are the king of zinc. I believe around even 1 to 2 oysters provide around 15 to 20 milligrams of zinc, which is just remarkable. So yeah, make sure you're zinc maxing. You can also opt for grass-fed beef. That's another solid zinc source. If you aren't a multimillionaire or you don't live by the sea, and you struggle to find oysters, then there's certainly no harm in investing in a zinc carnosine supplement. I have no affiliation with this brand, by the way, but yeah, zinc carnosine, top tier supplement. If you don't have any access or the finances to be dealing with the other two. So that's zinc. Now, just a quick diversion. I am currently running an 8-week health optimization program where we dive deep into your health, assessing the fundamentals from circadian health all the way down to liver and detoxification. And I believe most people are living at around 40% of their biological potential. So in order to apply, there is a link in the description where you can book a call, and we will address where you're currently at, see if you fully qualify, and then take it from there. The second one is vitamin B1. Now, you have to see vitamin B1 as the manufacturing of energy production. So B1 is an essential cofactor for 3 critical mitochondrial enzyme complexes. So the mechanism is gut epithelial cells, they have pretty high turnover rates. It's usually around 3 to 5 days. So a B1 deficiency creates an energy crisis in these cells, which does impair the tight junction maintenance and accelerates mucosal breakdown. It's also very important for parietal cells. These are just the cells that produce stomach acid, and these are highly energy dependent. So the combination of zinc and vitamin B1 are extremely important for stomach acid, and I see the gut as the north to south process. Anything that starts to go wrong at the top, for example the stomach, is going to lead to a cascade of issues further down. So it's key to get your stomach acid fully optimized, and zinc and vitamin B1 are 2 of the most important for doing that. In terms of sources of vitamin B1, brewer's yeast, bottom left, is the holy grail when it comes to vitamin B in general. Is a superfood, and definitely be including brewer's yeast. You've also got mussels, solid option again, because it's not only a source of B1, it's a source of zinc, so you're getting that double combo there for the stomach acid. You've also got trout, which is a source of vitamin B1, and then top left you've got Fire Mix's vitamin B1 supplement, which is very optimal. Again, no affiliation. Now, number 3, lactoferrin. Possibly one not everybody's heard of, but my word, this is a miracle compound. It is part of the body's innate immune defense, and it is an iron-binding protein, so it locks away iron, and it's found in a lot of different places, mainly the tears, saliva, mucus, and white blood cells. The mechanism with lactoferrin is that it starves pathogenic bacteria and candida, sequestrating the free iron they depend on. So a lot of these pathogens do rely on iron to thrive, and then lactoferrin is almost locking it away. Also, another cool feature of lactoferrin that it does destroy bacterial biofilms. These bacterial biofilms are almost protective shields that allow pathogens to hide from antibodies. So in terms of H. pylori, this is fantastic if you are dealing with some symptoms of H. pylori. So lactoferrin maxin is the key. And if you are interested in lactoferrin or into health at all, then certainly be giving Andra a follow. She has a whole host of posts on this molecule, and if you see the photo on the right, I mean, the list is just never ending. Anti-inflammatory, just reduce a lot of the inflammatory cytokines. Also key for the gut barrier and microbiome support, which is the one we're looking at. So yeah, super important. In terms of sources, it's not the easiest to consume. I'd say the most optimal is going to be raw milk. Ideally raw goat's milk. It's more easily digestible, but raw cow milk again is super optimal as well. So that is your number one. So raw milk. You can take this goat milk colostrum, which again very based. Another super solid option to get lactoferrin into your diet. Now there is an elite level brand called Lactoferrin Co, and these provide arguably some of the highest standard lactoferrin supplements on the market. So I would be having a look at Lactoferrin Co as well. Number 4, vitamin D. We certainly can't forget you at all. It is the master regulator of immunity, inflammation, microbial balance, and intestinal barrier integrity. It is just a powerhouse, and I believe around 60 to 80% have a suboptimal vitamin D deficiency. That's correlated with functional medicine testing, which use slightly stricter ranges. So you will find that the majority of the population are rolling around with a deficiency in vitamin D. And I'd say a lot of that is due to spending most of their time inside. Now, in terms of the mechanism, vitamin D does bind to the gut epithelial DNA, which switches on genes that build and maintain tight junctions. So again, it's super important for leaky gut and not allowing them toxic compounds to enter the bloodstream. Vitamin D does also trigger the production of antimicrobial peptides, which destroy pathogens, which is fantastic, and it does rebalance the microbiome and reduce dysbiosis. You've also got the regulation of T-cell differentiation in the gut mucosa, so it does suppress Th17 and it promotes regulatory T-cell differentiation. So vitamin D is super important for overall health optimization and obviously gut health. And it's pretty mad to think that the majority of the population are walking around with suboptimal vitamin D. In terms of sources, I'd always say your best bet is the sun. Absolute no-brainer. In terms of food, I mean, we have beef liver, salmon, fish in general is going to be an excellent source of vitamin D, and then pasture-raised eggs. If you live in a more northern latitude, if you live in Scandinavia or the UK, certainly not as easy. My suggestion would be to get super high vitamin D levels through the summer, get as much sun as you can safely, and then in the winter just eating vitamin D rich foods that are also nutrient dense, and from there wouldn't be any necessity to include a vitamin D supplement, from my opinion, as long as you get plenty of safe vitamin D, safe UVB exposure during the summer. So again, there's always got to be a big emphasis on morning sunlight and late afternoon where the UV is a little bit lower, but you're getting the benefits with the infrared and red light. And then I would say with the sun, just progressively overload. if you're new to sunbathing, start off with 10-15 minutes a day. That's all you need, and then maybe add an extra 5 minutes every week. And yeah, I think for a lot of people, you don't need to be going over half an hour during peak hours. It's not necessary for everybody. It just depends on your skin type, how well you tolerate the sun. So yeah, that'll be my protocol with vitamin D. Try and avoid supplements if you can. It's not completely necessary, especially if you live near the equator. Now we've got number 5, sodium butyrate. Again, a powerhouse. It is a short chain fatty acid, which is produced in your colon when beneficial gut bacteria ferment dietary fibre. So cells lining the colon, called colonocytes, they use butyrate for energy, and it is the primary source, their primary source for energy. In terms of sodium butyrate, again, we could talk for a whole year on the benefits. Gut related, it again strengthens the tight junctions, which does reduce leaky gut. It does also increase mucus layer thickness through the MUCT-C2 gene upregulation. And Jessica on X has done a pretty mega post on the benefits of sodium butyrate. Again, like lactoferrin, it's got this powerhouse of just amazing benefits. Mainly I love the inflammatory mediators, so it does heavily reduce a lot of the inflammatory cytokines. Does have anti-tumor properties, metabolic properties, and are very neuroprotective. So, it's a powerhouse. Jessica also talks about sodium butyrate potentially as part of a protocol for mold. Mold is a major issue. It can cause some pretty detrimental health effects, so if you are feeling some symptoms, whether that be kind of fatigue, congestion, sinus issues, and you have been exposed to a mouldy environment, it's definitely worth getting a mycotoxin panel done. I know in the UK you have Atlas Laboratories, which is a very solid private bloodwork company. So if you are having some of them symptoms and you have lived in a mouldy environment, it's definitely worth maybe diving a little bit deeper. In terms of the brand, Body Bio is your number one. It is the number one for sodium butyrate. So hop onto that. That is the magic right there. And lastly, number 6, we got bone broth. Now all bone broth is just slow cooked animal bones, usually like 12 to 48 hours, and they eventually get cleaved into gelatin, collagen peptides, and amino acids. So you have the amino acids are glycine, proline, hydroxyproline, and also glutamine. And again, this is amazing for gut health. One of the main reasons is because of the glutamine supply. It is high in glutamine, which is the primary source for enterocytes, small intestine cells. So yeah, very important for tight junctions and improving leaky gut. It is also high in glycine, which decreases the release of inflammatory cytokines and also reduces reactive oxygen species. Your bone broth is also high in type 1 and type 3 collagen, which builds the extracellular matrix. So again, bone broth is definitely one to be adding to the gut health arsenal. Now, you can either just make it, you can get some bones, chuck them into a slow cooker and let them simmer for 12 to 48 hours. Alternatively, this is the method I use. I use an amazing brand called Solara, which is owned by Maisie, and yeah, she's done an amazing job with this. It's just pasture-raised bovine gelatin. Gelatin is cooked collagen, so yeah, amazing for overall gut health. And yeah, it's definitely want to add to your arsenal. So that is the full list. It's a powerhouse of a list. If you are dealing with some gut issues, which a lot of people are, definitely look into a lot of these, because they can change the game quite drastically. And lastly, as I mentioned, I am running the 8-week health optimization program. There is the link in the description where you can book a call to see if you apply. So thank you very much.